Hello, everyone, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today, I want to talk about the rise of paid companion services, as well as the recent rise of STDs in the Philippines. Choosing to cover this topic, I believe, is important to prepare you for what to expect when you come to the Philippines to participate in such services. Stay tuned. The development of paid companion services, often called prostitution in the Philippines, is deeply rooted in historical and socioeconomic factors, evolving from a pre colonial understanding of hospitality to a commercialized industry. This industry, sometimes euphemistically called entertainment, has grown into a substantial, though covert, driver of the national economy. STDs have also increased significantly in tandem with this trend, posing serious health risks to newly arrived expats who want to date in the Philippines. The term paid companionship typically refers to sex work, which is illegal but generally accepted. This industry has a long history in the Philippines, worsened by various economic and social factors, and has been notably influenced by the presence of foreign military personnel and tourism. Prostitution in the Philippines dates back to the Spanish colonial period, when it became widespread due to factors like gambling and corruption among Spanish officials. The American insular government of the Philippine Islands even supported the practice during the American colonial era, calling it a military necessity and facilitating the transportation of sex workers. With thousands of prostitutes working for military troops, the existence of American military bases like Clark Air Base and Subic Bay Naval Base greatly boosted the sex industry in places like Angeles and Olongapo. Although these bases closed in the early 1990s, the sex industry continued, shifting its clientele to sex tourists. With a poverty rate of 13.2% in 2025, which was higher in previous years, poverty is a major factor behind the high rate of prostitution in the Philippines. Many women, especially those from rural areas like Visayas and Mindanao, turn to the sex industry to support their families and improve their living conditions. Women entering prostitution are also influenced by the high number of unmarried moms, which is partly due to the unpopularity of artificial contraception in the largely Catholic country. In the Philippines, illegitimate births account for more than half of all births each year, and this number is rising. Even if women initially enter the industry out of desperation, many find that working in bars and brothels provides a way to earn money. The Philippines has traditionally been a well liked sex tourism destination, drawing international businesses from both Western and East Asian countries. Cities with high rates of prostitution, frequently serving foreign clients, include Cebu, Olongapo, Angeles City, Legazpi in Albay, Pasay, and Subic Bay in Zambales. Thousands of expats come to Angeles City specifically to seek young women. Often called sexpats or sex tourists, these international travelers add to the demand for paid companions. Some foreign men engage in sex acts with Filipina they identify as girlfriends, blurring the lines of prostitution and making it less likely for condoms to be used due to the social and emotional ambiguities of these relationships. The perception of some foreigners as expats rather than sex tourists is a nuanced aspect of this issue, as these individuals may settle in the Philippines and engage in ongoing sexual relationships. For some, the commercial sexual exploitation of children is also a pervasive problem, with young Filipino girls and boys increasingly induced to perform sex acts for live internet broadcasts to paying expats. The prevalence of STDs, especially HIV infections, has significantly increased in the Philippines, raising considerable public health concerns. Anyone having sex in the country, even recent expats, is affected by this growing practice. The HIV epidemic in the country is among the fastest growing worldwide. The Philippines experienced a startling 543% surge in HIV diagnosis from 2010 to the present. The number of new HIV cases increased from a few thousand in 2010 to tens of thousands in recent years, with annual infections rising by 500%. This trend runs counter to global patterns, where new HIV cases have generally declined. Nearly half of the new HIV infections in the Philippines in 2024 were among the individuals aged 15 to 24, with the largest group being men who have sex with men. Studies also show a higher risk of STIs among women aged 15 to 24 compared to those aged 25 to 49. Common STIs worldwide include chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HPV, with millions of new cases reported each year. In the Philippines, the incidence of syphilis and other STDs caused by pathogens like chlamydia, urea plasma, and Gardnerella has continued to rise. Multiple factors cause the Philippines' rise in STD rates. Key contributors include low condom use, increased casual sex, and unsafe injection drug use. In a 1994 survey, only 4% of sexually active men reported using a condom during their most recent sexual encounter. Even among female sex workers, condom use with paid or casual partners was relatively low, around 39.6% for vaginal sex and 36.2% for oral sex. According to a 2015 study in Singapore involving foreign female entertainment workers, many of whom are Filipina. The Philippines has a sizable commercial sex trade, which helps spread HIV by encouraging unprotected sex with promises of money, drugs, and alcohol. The country's largely conservative culture, influenced by the Roman Catholic Church, historically discouraged comprehensive sex education. However, since 2018, the Department of Education has integrated age appropriate sex education into schools. Yet, a 1994 survey found that although most Filipino teenagers were aware of AIDS, false information about HIV transmission remained common. Social and economic changes, along with rising unemployment, have also led to increased prostitution and a higher prevalence of STDs. For new expats planning to date or have sex in the Philippines, the growing prevalence of STIs poses serious health risk. Expats are more likely to contract STIs, including HIV, due to the high rates of these illnesses and low condom use. Men who have casual sex with commercial sex workers, or even with girlfriends who may be involved in sex work, are especially at risk. That's because most Filipinas often hesitate to seek treatment because of societal stigma, and many STDs in women are asymptomatic, complicating diagnosis and treatment. If left untreated, these infections can contribute to the further spread of STIs, as untreated STDs can increase HIV transmission risks by up to 9 times. Expats should understand that sexual behavior in the Philippines is shaped by a mix of traditional conservative values and easier access to information via the internet. Despite laws against it, activities like prostitution are widespread. In the Philippines, heterosexual sex with a monogamous marriage is viewed as the only ethical and legally acceptable sexual conduct. The risk environment for STDs is further heightened by extramarital sex, especially among married men who may visit sex workers. Therefore, new expats planning to date should prioritize safe sexual practices, such as consistent and correct condom use and regularly getting tested for STIs. Understanding the local context of sexual health and the associated risk is essential to reducing STI exposure. The combined trends of paid companion services and rising STD rates in the Philippines have significant implications for expats planning to date in the country. Expats should stay informed about the current STD situation and take appropriate precautions. Engaging in sexual activities in the Philippines increases the risk of contracting STDs due to the rise in HIV rates and the prevalence of infections like syphilis, HPV, herpes, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. The relatively high occurrence of unprotected commercial sex highlights the importance of caution. Even if overall rates appear low, there may be higher risk within specific high risk groups or among young people. Many STIs are asymptomatic, meaning individuals may be unknowingly infected and could unintentionally transmit the infections to their partners. In conclusion, if you are an expat moving to the Philippines, it's your responsibility to practice safe sex. Consistent and correct condom use is emphasized as a key method to prevent the transmission of HIV, HPV, genital warts, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Regular STD screening and testing are vital for prevention and early detection, especially since many STIs do not show immediate symptoms. Expats can access comprehensive STD screening and treatment at clinics like Pulse Clinic Manila. Limiting the number of sexual partners and considering monogamous relationships can also reduce infection risk. All right, guys, that is all for today's show. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good day.